I just finished prepping Bailey's nails. Very in-depth video on that if you didn't catch it. And now we're going to fill them with a special Suzie Mix color. Let's get started. I like to mix a color for the nail plate to sort of give a little bit of like a foundation sort of effect, rather than just clear or rather than just pink. And to do that, I mix within one line. Lots of different companies now have different colors of pink, and so sometimes I'll mix them together with a little bit of an opaque pink and a little bit of a clearer pink. And then there's warm pinks and cool pinks, so this is what I do. So I've got 3 different colors of pink here, and this is sort of how I go about it. I'm going to show you the different colors that we're working with. This one, oh, very pretty. A very see-through-ish, rather see-through pink. And this one is the cover pink, meaning like a cover-up. You can see how one is quite see-through and the other one is very opaque. And then the other one is on the see-through side. This one's really see-through. And this one is more of a warmer tone. This is very cool. They're all very pretty. So you can go with each and every one straight up, or you can mix them together to make your own little custom mix. And I tend to do this. You know, Bailey, did you see the sparkle in this one?
I did. I really like that.
That is something else. I'm going to mix this little bit of sparkly one with this color here to give us a little bit more opaque. This is pretty, but it's just a little see-through, but I love those sparkles. Okay, so how we're going to do that. And do this within the same line. If you mix different companies together, you can do that. A lot of nail technicians, we do that. But if you do that, you'll understand that there might be some service breakdown because monomers and powders are made to work together. And if you get them from different lines, they might not work together. So if you're having any issues with lifting and whatnot, that could be why. So I've got another little empty dish, and I'm going to take a little bit of that beautiful sparkle with the more blush, opaque cover up. And it's about 50-50, I find, is a good mix. You guys do that at the shop too, eh?
Yes, we do.
I sort of started that with the girls. We used to call it the Suzie mix, and now they're mixing their own, so they come up with whatever. You can put it in a lid in a jar and shake it, or you can do what I'm doing here. Just give it a good stir. Alrighty. Oh, that is gorgeous. You know, there's nothing like a little sparkle. Okay, now I'm just going to test it, make sure that's what I want. What's a little trick about this? If you do this for a client, they have to come back to you for that color. Okay, just going to test this, make sure that's what we're looking for. Oh my, that is, look at that. It's just got just enough cover in it. That's beautiful. So if you feel you want a little bit more, you can add a little bit more of the darker color. What do you think, Bea?
I really like it, yeah.
Yeah, I think that looks good. Very pretty. Okay, so let's go for it. So we've got our monomer and now our powder. Okay, let's see those beautiful hands. So we were focusing last video on how to prep for a nail fill. We did a lot of work on these and we've got them to the prep point. So one big tip in the last video to prevent lifting was to use acetone to remove all oils. That is huge when you're having lifting problems, getting rid of all the oils. So we've done that. And then you want to have yourself a good primer. And how you apply the primer is very careful. You don't want to oversaturate that nail. So when you put the brush down, you're just painting and you just want to focus on the natural nail. You don't have to focus on the acrylic at all. If you get the acrylic, it's not a big deal, but you just want to gently paint around the natural nail, covering the surface. Don't oversaturate, so you don't let it soak into the root, into the matrix of the nail. You don't want to do that. And then we'll just grab the thumb. Okay. Okay, so I always get a piece of absorbent paper towel to catch all my, liquid and powder so I don't wreck my towel. I've wrecked enough towels and this one's really pretty, so I hope I don't really wreck this one. Now we're gonna see how this looks. Now, here's something too. You kind of have to decide what we're gonna do here. We've prepped this hand for a nail fill, but sometimes clients will want different colors, and if they do, you kind of wanna take all of this off and start scratch again. You do removal and then a new set. But this client, let's say, wasn't that picky, and she just said, yeah, I just want to fill. And you're looking at this going, well, this is an ombre. Do you want like an ombre fill? Because you had to prep the nail differently for an ombre fill. If we were prepping this for an ombre fill, we'd want to file the white down even a little bit more because you can see the varying different colors of white. I don't know if you can pick up on that with the camera, but this white here is different than what's happening here. So we are going to take this pink and covering them from this end to this end. And we're going to see if it's going to fade through and leave a little tiny bit of an ombre. Maybe we'll see how it looks. You never know what you're going to do when you put one color on top of another color. And depending on how heavy-handed you are or how thick you make it, or if you want to do it right to the end, it might look a little bit different. And some clients don't realize that until you start doing it. So determine that look before. Now, Bailey and I are sort of winging it here, and we want to show you this color and how it goes down. So we'll have to decide how far down we're going to go. We did file these pretty thin, so we could take this color right from cuticle to the tip, although I think I'm going to fade it off a little bit so we get a little bit of this ombre, but we'll see how it looks. Sometimes you don't know until you do it. Okay, so these nails are prepped. All we do know is we are definitely covering this area because we don't like the look of that. So I will test a little bead and see if we like this color. We're pretty sure we're gonna like it because there's glitter in it, but let's just test and make sure. So I'll just do a little bead. Put it right there. Sometimes it's a good test too to see if it's gonna cover up what's underneath it and make sure you like it with the skin tone. It looks pretty solid enough. I think it's definitely going to cover that stuff that's in there. And if you don't find that it is, then we'll want to increase the cover pink side of it, right? So maybe 60-40 to the cover side. Like I say, sometimes you don't know what it's going to look like until you do it. What do you think?
I like that.
It's awfully pretty, isn't it?
With the sparkle in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to do the cuticle with it. I think it's strong enough. Sometimes you don't finally know until you top coat it. But we're going to sacrifice this finger to see. There's not much structure in here either, don't forget. Now I can build structure with this, or I can decide to add it with the clear. If I find that there's too much color I'm saturating it with, then I might want to prefer to add it with the clear. However, if I'm trying to cover up the white that's underneath, I might prefer to add the structure with this color to cover it up more. It's tough sometimes when you're trying to cover underneath stuff, especially when you're working with light colors. If we were trying to cover with a darker color, well, that would be easy, right? But when you're working with these lighter tones, it's interesting. Like, for example, if she had broken a nail clean off, I couldn't just put this on and put it over top. I would have to put the white underneath it and simulate this old fill to get the same looks as all the other nails are going to be. Because if the white is missing, you're going to tell the difference. Now, because the nail was previously a bit patchy, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to add a bit more of this new color we mixed. Super pretty. So I think I'm just going to utilize just the very end of this ombre so I can get more of this pink sparkle over top. That's actually quite pretty. Do you like that?
I really like that.
That's pretty. So now here's the thing. If I start filing that after it's cured, I may remove some of the design powder to make the shape that I want. But if I do that, I'm going to now mess up what the design actually is. I'm going to take it away. So I would opt, and I usually always do this, to clear cap it so I can then shape the clear rather than getting into the color. That's why I won't make this too thick, because I probably am going to do that. Actually, that's really pretty. That is beautiful coverage. Now we pretty much are covering the whole thing. We're not really utilizing underneath, which is, I think, as long as you and your client are winging it and they're good with that. If a client came in and really wanted that underneath, then that would be a bummer. But you can do that. You just have to know that before. We're just winging it here. That is really pretty. And sometimes you'll just come up with some stuff like this, and you just that's how things are discovered. Okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and fill them all up. So something I'm noticing with this one, the white is showing through more. The white is a little bit stronger. So what I could have done was filed, but we didn't know we were going to do this. I could have filed the white down quite a bit more. We didn't know if we were utilizing the white or avoiding it. And I don't really like the look of that. So I'm going to make the pink quite a bit thicker to be able to cover that. I don't want it too thick, and I can still go more on my arch. I've got a lot of room to do some stuff on my arch, but let's try to fill that up. Bailey works in my salon as a nail technician. She was also on the cover of my latest magazine issue, which was January. So we want to cover that. Get it right to the side. You didn't have any problem with stress cracks, which is great. So clearly what you did there for the arch on your previous fill was good. You don't have any stress issues at all. That covered it up really, really nice. So if you've run into that and you can't cover it up so much, the last thing you really want to do is file all that stuff off again and get down to the white and go down deeper. What you could do is put a little bit more of the cover pink inside the mixture that you have to see if you can cover it up a little bit more. But I think we got away with that. But I'm going to have to bring it down to the tip because it's a subtle difference, but you see, I mean, we can get away with that almost. But I'm going to bring it down the pink color a little bit more to the tip, just so it looks like all one color. It's very, very, I mean, a tiny bit of a gentle fade. This would be beautiful over like a really extreme ombre, wouldn't it? Like a real strong white tip. Just gorgeous. Oh, I love it. Okay, this is going to do the same thing. This one will not so much because you see how there's real no hard edge in there, but this has got a real strong hard edge. This is what we can do. Here's a cheat for you. We're going to take that original cover pink that we had, and we are going to put a bead in here to soften this hard edge. Look at that. It's like a patch job. What you want is everything to be kind of ramps, like slow ramps to each other. Nothing hard like that because that'll really show some edges. I should have thought of that before there, but I didn't think of that. Okay, see how that's nice and it's softening a little bit more? Now let's see if we can put that in there and see how effective that was. tall. Gonna make it a little bit thicker over there, get some structure in there, and cover that white up a little bit more. It's a very gentle sparkles, very tiny. I'm a big fan of the tiny, tiny sparkle. That looks great. I'm loving the almond shape on you, Bailey.
I love it too.
And we're gonna bring this color right to the end. It's like a champagne pink, hey? That's what we made, champagne pink. Right to the end. Okay, look at that. So now, and I'll do the pinky later, but I just want to get to this part. I'm going to actually clear cap these just to make sure I don't erase any of this, because if I'm filing and shaping, I might go into that, and I really don't want to do it because I'm going to mess up this beautiful design. So I'm going to get the clear, and clear capping is just easy. You take a clear and you just go over the whole thing. Okay, I'm just gonna go finish these up and then we're gonna start to shape them. So we filled them completely and now we're gonna file them, but we can gently see the tip of it. It's just a tiny bit of a fade. And that's what happens sometimes when you do a fill, you don't know what it's gonna look like, but that is actually really pretty. I really like the look. I love the color combination too. So we're gonna file and shape these up. I'll do one nail complete so you can see. I just get my shaper, I'm shaping with this one. It's not a very heavy teeth bit because I'm not filing away too much. I just wanna shape it. So now I'm just taking a gentle file and just reaffirming the shape that we've already decided on, which is an almond, a long kind of pointy almond. She hasn't had the almond since our trip to Vegas. We went to the International Beauty Show together last summer, right?
Yeah.
That was fun. And that's when you had the almond last? Wow.
It's been a while.
Okay, so I will just restructure and make sure everything is happy. And before I finish every nail, I go over it with my Arbor Band. And that is something I've always done. I've tried to get away with not doing it, just as for nail technicians. If you're wondering to speed up time, yeah, you kind of want to not use it. But if you're doing it yourself, you have a little bit more time. I always go over the nail with the Arbor Band in a medium or fine grit because it just gives a really smooth overall look, especially when you're doing a gel polish or a nail polish. It just makes it that extra finished kind of look. I've sort of cheated it, and I've tried and experimented between not doing this and doing it, and it always looked better if I do it. Always. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the others. Then we're just going to top coat it with a gel clear top coat, and I think we're ready for the reveals. Check out the before and afters on these. So every client and every nail fill, and even if you're doing yourself, is very unique from one fill to the next. You have to sort of analyze what they want, analyze what's on there, and work something out. This turned out great. We sort of wung it in a way. It looks really good. I'm really happy with it. Thanks for joining me, Bailey.
Thank you. It was so fun.
It was. Thanks again, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.